As Randy had indicated, these are our BRSU school goals. Some of them are going to be tied to CIP goals, which are a requirement that the AOE has for us to access federal dollars. So I'll start with the larger organization, and then I will be followed up by my building level colleagues, and they'll give an overview of their goals that are somewhat connected or may not be connected because they may have elected to go a different route. So the BRSU overall organizational goals are in two domains of our educator quality standards. They're in academic proficiency and safe and healthy schools. And the bullets that you see below are kind of the sum, or the parts to the sum of academic proficiency and the parts to the sum of safe and healthy schools. In previous years, we have had personalization as a goal, but this year, just given its, I guess, unusual nature, we've pared it down to two goals, and they are required in these areas. Every school in the state of Vermont has to have an academic proficiency goal and a safe and healthy school goal for continuous improvement purposes. So here is our wordy goal. By the end of the 2020-2021 school year, comprehensive computer adaptive assessment data, so iReady in this case, previously we had been using MAPS, will indicate the consistent implementation of BRSU supported curriculum and instructional models leads to continuous learner growth, as evidenced by 65% of students representing historically marginalized groups achieving grade level average growth in the areas of reading and mathematics. It's a really wordy way to say that our computer adaptive assessments, usually they're nationally normed. So they shoot for about 50% of students hitting their average growth for any particular age. I think it's by biological age. So setting a goal at 65% is actually quite ambitious, where you might think 65% isn't that ambitious. Right now, these numbers are, for our overall student body, are around 45 to 55% reach that goal area. For our historically marginalized groups, so I can further define that as well, that's going to be so low socioeconomic status. That's going to be any kind of racial data that we have. It's really easy to do for the SU because our N size is much larger and we can have an actual population to work with, whereas some of our school level data for historically marginalized groups is really small. Slide, please. So here are some things that we're going to do to address and achieve this goal. So we're really paying attention to our new teacher orientation and mentoring systems this year. This has been kind of interesting because there's been a lot of onboarding, getting people familiar with the systems that we're using to even deliver our education right now. So we have instructional coaches that are working on all of these things with our teachers, as well, our veteran teachers, as well as our newer teachers. We've adopted the iReady instruction piece, which is different than the iReady diagnostic testing system. So it will give our kids a personalized learning path that is generated based on their results on the diagnostic assessment, which they're currently doing this week and the next two after this as well. So our safe and healthy school goal is related to physical environment. It's related to disciplinary data, multi-tiered system of supports. So you can see that we're looking for a 10% reduction of significant incidents reportable to state, and we're going to achieve that through a BRSU district level team with representation from every school. Slide, please. And this is interesting because we don't necessarily have great data from last year, given that our schools were physically closed from March to June. So that, how do we get behavioral data when kids are at a distance other than behavior on virtual learning platforms? So we are focusing this year, as you are all well aware, on relationship safety and trust and establishing those communities at a distance and also in person. So second step is a program that teaches social emotional skills. And we have that present in all of our buildings. The SEL stands for social emotional learning, and PBIS is positive behavioral interventions and supports. Teams in every building, a representative of which would be on a larger BRSU team. We're going to take a look at a deep dive into the overall PBIS data that we collect as an organization for all 6 of our schools. Responsive classroom is something that is present in our buildings, as well as developmental design, I know, is a goal area for a lot of our middle school principals. And we are also, as you are all aware, we're really focused on equity this year and understanding how to meet the needs of all of our students.
Hi, I'm Deb Fishwick. I'm one of the two principals at Manchester Elementary Middle School. Betsy, are you, I don't see your picture, so I can't tell where you are.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm Betsy Nemo, the other principal at Manchester.
So our goals are very similar to the other goals that you've heard this evening. We have both an academic goal and a goal around safe and healthy schools. And our academic goal is to increase student knowledge and understanding of mathematical concepts and mathematical reasoning.
And our safe and healthy schools goal is to implement a coordinated systemic response to students' social emotional needs.
So academic proficiency goal by the end of the 2021 school year, Manchester Elementary Middle School will demonstrate at least 1 year growth on the iReady Spring Assessment in the area of mathematics. And again, we did a root cause analysis. We looked at our data over time at the Manchester Elementary School, and we saw that our growth was relatively flat. And again, there was a significant difference between our students who were socioeconomically disadvantaged.
In the set,
yeah, below that, sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead, sorry.
In the safe and healthy schools goal, by the end of the year of 2021, Manchester Elementary Middle School will reduce the number of major and minor referrals, as well as reducing the number of social emotional intensive interventions by implementing a coordinated and timely systemic response to students' needs.
Okay, now the next slide. So our baseline data, as I had mentioned, on the SBAC assessment, which is a Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortium, our data from the 2016 to 2019, students had not shown significant growth in the area of mathematics. The overall proficiency in mathematics is 40%. That's for our total population. And if you separate out our population who are socioeconomically disadvantaged, only 28% of those students are meeting proficiency in mathematics.
And in the safe and healthy schools, based on our data from August 2019 to March of 2020, our Swiss data, which is a school-wide information system, indicated that 21% of students have had 6 or more experiences of emotional dysregulation. And what that takes a lot of resources to respond to, as well as time out of the classroom. So we feel if we target this area, it will make a substantial difference across every system in our school.
And our hope also is that by addressing the socioeconomic, the social emotional health of our students, that will help them better access their learning. So our action steps in the academic area, teachers will use the data to tailor and guide mathematics instruction. They'll align instruction with the BRSU priority proficiencies, and they'll work with a coach and a math interventionist to review and use data to adjust lessons to meet the needs of their learners.
The Safe and Healthy Schools, our social emotional team is going to do a regular review each month of the behavior data and design proactive intervention responses for learners, as well as we've already begun working with our teachers to help them recognize signs of dysregulation and intervene early. We're in our 3rd year as a PBIS school. The first 2 years, we focused on kind of the baseline tier 1 supports, and this year we're moving into the targeted, which will align nicely with the goal that we've chosen.